So I just finished my 5-minute 2-arm long cycle set with the 24s, which is the first time that I've done a 5-minute test set since probably grip strength of last year. So about 9 months or so. I wanted to focus a bit more on snatch in 2021, but then I started getting this thing with my elbow. So that's been a little nasty, but some days it's better, some days it's not as good, but long cycle doesn't seem to aggravate it, so I don't know if I'd say I'm surprised with how that went, per se. Here's the thing, I mean, generally your strength will stay pretty consistent, especially if you're doing other training. So in general, it takes a lot less to maintain your strength and size than it does to actually make improvements, which would seem to make sense. So that set, you know, moving the weights wasn't so much of an issue, although I am a bit rusty and it felt really sloppy. It really comes down to the sloppiness, the lack of technique, how rusty that is, and then also the work capacity. So I'm not used to pushing the pace with the 24s anymore. Like I was doing sprint sets at 12 RPM, long cycle, and my best in competition was holding a 9 RPM with the 24s up until like the 7th or 8th minute, and then I kind of sputtered out. So now it's kind of like 6 RPM, just trying to stick with that, get nice and comfortable on the rack and all that stuff. So yeah, confidence is starting to come back with the 24s. I feel okay underneath them. The thing is just greasing that groove, doing more of those sets with the 24s, getting used to the weight, getting used to moving that weight, doing some more sprint sets, getting used to pushing the pace, getting that conditioning back up, and then hopefully be ready for Crazy Monkey on, I think, the 26th. So that's where I'm at, and I'll just keep plugging away at it and looking forward to Crazy Monkey. Okay, so we're gonna hike up Extension Ridge. This is where the Abyss is. It's part of the Great Canadian Trail, or the Great Trail. So we're gonna walk up here a little bit. We're gonna let Charlotte walk a little bit before we put her in the carrier. And we'll hike up to the fault line and show you what that looks like. You know the time has come for breaking some new ground. I'll let you drive, so we will stare at views we can't believe we found. We'll feel alive. You're still my favorite queen of the night, my friend. Let's drive off again. Let's drive off again. Let us where we fall. Once know what's right, my friend. Let's ride through the night. Let's ride through the night. We'll keep on going into the sun. We won't be slowing down all the night. You're still my favorite queen of the night, my friend. Let's drive off again. Let's drive off again. You need a high throne where you can be adored. You'll get what you deserve. This town is no fun. Your life has just begun. We need to live and learn. You know the time has come for breaking some new ground. I'll let you drive, so we will stare at views we can't believe we found. We'll feel alive. You're still my favorite queen of the night, my friend. Let's drive off again. Let's drive off again. Let us where we fall. Once know what's right, my friend. Let's ride through the night. Let's ride through the night. We'll keep on going into the sun. We won't be slowing down all the night. You're still my favorite queen of the night, my friend. Let's drive off again. Let's drive off again. One for the lusting, for the adjusting, one for the tired hands, one for the letdowns, all thanks to this old town, one for the shattered plans. You're still my favorite queen of the night, my friend. Let's drive off again. Let's drive off again. Let us where we fall. Once know So this is the fault line. And it actually continues up there a little bit, but it gets smaller. But it's like, yeah, so definitely not a yard in width, but like a foot to maybe a little bit wider. But it's pretty cool. There's even a few bodies down there. No, I'm just joking. Well, there might be. Oh, I think there's a bicycle down there though. But yeah, people got to be really careful with their little dogs. Because I think there have been some instances of dogs getting, like little dogs falling down there and then them having to rescue them. So, but we're not really all that far away from the parking lot, to be honest. It's about, depending on how quick you're going, 10 to 15 minutes to actually get to the abyss. So, you know, God forbid something does happen, you're not too far away from rescue efforts. So, yeah. Anyway, so now we are up on the ridge itself, Extension Ridge as it's called. And it's quite a thicket of arbutus. You're gonna see a lot of that in here. So arbutus are these trees here that very typically you'll see the bark peeling off, and then they have this really smooth surface underneath. And they are an evergreen, but they're a broadleaf evergreen. Yeah, one of the trees unique to the West Coast here, as opposed to back in Ontario where we're from. But you might hear some popping, and that's the Nanaimo rifle range, which is just a little down the ways to our right. But you can already see that we're starting to get into some good views here. For as far as we've gone on this hike, it's been pretty easy to moderate. Easy, I would say. I think it's listed as moderate, to be honest. But our plan is to go further today than we've gone before. So, you know, an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours out, and then we'll make our way back. Yeah, so we'll give you an update a little later. So we're about an hour in, and there's a little stone circle here that is actually where we usually turn around at. We've gone a little bit further, but not much further. So today we're planning to go further than the stone circle and further than we've gone before. Sounds like I'm quoting Star Trek. looks like we're turning left. Parking is here, so this is where we started, and we walked and walked and walked and walked and walked and walked, and I think basically we went to about there. So if we look on here, we went along Extension Ridge Trail, we started to come down. It says there's some parking here, which I'm not exactly sure what that's referring to, but I mean, we definitely came down into a bit of a residential area, I guess you could say. So I'm thinking that we turned around about here. But if you keep going, you'll actually end up at Spruceton Road. And that's the trail that we did when we did the White Pine Trail. That gives you a bit of an idea of where this trail is in relation to the White Pine and how we might get there. But we're done now, so we're going to the car. And then we're gonna get a bite to eat. Right, Charlotte? You're already getting a bite to eat.